we have two special guests that have decades of experience in media. So first we have sports reporter Michelle Dapper from KCR3 and My 58. All right, awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Like my wonderful corner office here. I'm kidding.
That's great. And then we also have Scott Moak, and Scott is the VP of Community Investment for Sac Republic FC. He's also a host on Fox 40, and he also does some announcing for the Sacramento Kings.
I never heard.
And I'm in a circular office. They don't give me a corner. They give her a corner. Mine's just a big circle.
This is just it's a desk, guys. So really.
Oh, that's cool though.
I'm in the corner.
That's awesome. All right, so welcome both of you, and thank you for joining us. So Michelle, we're going to start with you because we just have you to about 4:15.
Okay.
And so can you talk a little bit about, let's just get started, is how did you get started in TV and kind of what was your educational path to get where you are today?
So, I mean, I was in high school. I went to Moak Catholic in the Bay Area. Now they have a broadcasting program. They didn't when I was there. They actually have KTVU set. So their program's pretty high tech. And, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got into UCLA out of high school, was thinking about becoming a Bruin, but then I didn't really know what I wanted to major in or whatnot. So I decided not to waste my parents' money and take the JC route. So I went to Chabot College, spent 2 years there, took radio, TV broadcast classes, fell in love with it instantly. And at that time, this was the early 2000s, and women in sports wasn't a popular thing at that time. And so it was kind of in its infancy stages. And I knew a lot about sports, played sports my entire life. Watched ESPN every night, knew that I had kind of a one up on most females. And so I said, hey, I'm going to give that a try. I did come out of college with a newsreel as well as a sports reel. So I had both plans intact. Transferred to San Francisco State, best decision I have ever made. I am a Gator through and through. I will back that program to the fullest. I came out of that program. It's called Becca. I actually double majored journalism and broadcasting. Print was my backup plan to TV. TV was my plan A, I guess you could say. And came out of that program with a resume tape ready to go. Took my first news interview, flew to Laredo, Texas, got offered the morning anchor job. But luckily I was hesitant on accepting because 2 days later after I got the offer, Abilene, Texas called me and wanted to fly me out for the sports director job. And that's a Monday through Friday anchoring job full time. And you're running your sports department. Flew out there, took the job, was there for 3 years covering high school football to the fullest, 30,000 people on hand at a stadium per night on a Friday night. What you see is what you get on Friday night lights. Those are the teams that we were covering. The talent is spectacular. And was there for 3 years, took my next job in Eugene, Oregon, covered the Oregon Ducks and Oregon State Beavers, covered Rose Bowls, national championships, really got to hone my skills with college football at the highest level. And really, again, I was the sports director there. So I again, learned how to run a sports department. And then my third job was Spokane, Washington. I spent 6 years covering Gonzaga basketball, Washington State football, Idaho, as well as Eastern Washington. So I loved it so much up there. It's a great sports market. And finally, randomly, I wasn't really looking to leave just yet, but I got an email from my former news director here in Sacramento at KCRA. And she said, hey, do you ever want to come home? And I said, absolutely. This California kid does. And that was actually 7.5 years ago now. So I've been in Sacramento for 7.5 years and love calling this place home. So that's where I'm at.
We begin in Antelope, where the Center Cougars wrapped up their spring season at home against the Foothill Mustangs. KCRA3's Michelle Dapper has all of the action from this contest.
The Center Cougars getting coached up, looking for their first win of the spring to send the seniors off in style, hosting Foothill. Center up 20-0 in the fourth, with all the scoring done in the first half. Xavier Durand to John Fisher. Nice grab here as he holds on and bounces off the defender. The workhorse for the Mustangs, C.J. Simpson. Shifty moves. A big run here as he carves his way down the field. Foothill now facing 4th and 1 in the red zone, but the Mustangs are met by a crowd of Cougars led by Kelvin Jackson. That keeps him off the scoreboard, and it's a turnover on downs. Foothill finally finds the end zone. They avoid the shutout. Simpson takes it in for the 10-yard score, but Center celebrates their first win of the spring, 20-6 the final, a big dub for the seniors.
Yes, it was definitely worth it. I love playing with my boys out here, and when we come out here on our last game and get a dub, it feels great.
Persistence, not giving up. Our first couple games were tough. We're low in numbers. We had players playing out of position, undersized. I mean, all the above, but they fought through it.
I took loyalty. We stuck together, and we played through all 4 games, and yeah, we ended up winning our last one.
So that does it for the spring. Now it's time to rest up, heal up, and get ready for the fall. In Antelope, Michelle Dapper for High School Playbook.
Thank you, Michelle.
It's
All
awesome.
right.
That mask, though. So good to be out of that. So I guess what do you want to know, the process on how we all make that happen, I guess?
Yeah, like what happens when you head out there and where do you start?
So that was probably my second game of the night. So as you can see at the very beginning, I said all the scoring mostly done in the first half. So by the time I think we were at Antelope for our first game, and then we go to Center. So it's a full night. Stopped at Antelope, got what we needed there, headed over to Center. Basically, we start shooting right away. You want to get as much action as you can. We got a couple of the plays, and basically, I like to log as my photographer is shooting, just so I know. And I basically am already starting to write the story as we go. Yeah, exactly. And even sometimes I'll mark the clip numbers. So if we are on an intense deadline, I already know can tell the photographer, hey, that was clip 44. Bring it down on the editing timeline. So with that, just all I'm doing is describing what's happening. You want to get rosters. You don't really want to say number 24. You want to avoid that at all costs. If you don't have a roster online, ask someone on the staff. They'll know. Brina, I think you helped me out at that game with names and whatnot. So a special shout out. Yeah, ask questions, listen to the announcer up top to see how many yards. If you're not looking at the field yourself, or you get caught off guard a little bit, you want to know. I've always been told, as much information you can provide as possible. You want to do the who, what, when, where, why, how. Time of the game, you can't emphasize that enough. Score of the game, you want to really emphasize the score so people know what's going on and what is on the line at that point. 4th down, if it's like I said, the 4th down stop, that's a big thing for the defense as well as the offense. Just little things like that. And you want to tell the story of how it all played out. Sometimes when you arrive, the scoring, if it was already done, you got to kind of make it happen somehow. So you're looking for big tackles, nice runs, big catches, a field goal, if it's a game-winning field goal. You're really looking for the story in case the touchdowns aren't there, because sometimes you're going to run into a game that may happen. And then tell the story, ask the questions to the players and the coach. In that case, it was sending the seniors off for the spring. That, of course, we all know how challenging last year was, and getting that season in. That was a big focus, just to get those guys on the field and have some playing time. And of course, looking forward to the fall as for the younger classmen. And then tag it out, as we said. Now it's time to heal up, rest up, and usually if it's a game in the middle of the season, I'll look ahead at what they're playing, or like this week, this Friday, it'll be hey, stay tuned for Selection Sunday. We'll see where these teams are lined up in the playoffs. So you also want to look ahead as well for these teams to see what is exactly on the line with this game, how important this game is, and what's it mean. Because yeah, it's great to score touchdowns, but in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture, what's on the stake? What's at stake? Like this week, tomorrow night, I'll be heading to Vacaville. Vacaville is hosting Wood. Both teams are 7-2 on the year. Vacaville already clinched the share of the title, while Wood's trying to also clinch a share. Vacaville wins, they win the outright. So little things like that you really want to know, and just do your research on I guess what you could say, like what is at stake and why is this game important, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you do get the coach and the players, what questions are you asking? Like what Because you have limited time with them. So how do
Yeah,
you target?
definitely. If it's a dominating win, all sides of the game, everyone's, all sides of the game, they were explosive or they were dominant. Like last week. So last week I was at Christian Brothers and they were playing Vista Del Lago. Final play of the game, their tight end gets knocked out cold. Literally, it was a game-saving fumble by Vista, but Christian Brothers tight end got knocked out. So like I've never experienced something like this in my whole career where it was jubilation for one side, like literally a game-saving fumble, boom, you got the win, but then the stadium goes quiet and you have a player and he was knocked out for like at least 8 minutes. And so it's like, I was thinking like, how do I approach this winning team and say, hey, great win. But at the end of the day, it was bittersweet because, luckily the kid's okay, doing totally fine. But it was kind of strange because how do you celebrate a win when, the stadium goes cold silent? And so for that, I kind of just made that the story. Yeah, it was a great win, but I had the coach talk about what did he tell his players, while you're celebrating a win, but at the same time, it's almost bigger than the game. So you have to really kind of, be compassionate there. Because I didn't want to celebrate the victory when an unfortunate thing happened on the field. So basically I made that my story as far as, what was your message to your guys? And they reacted accordingly. I mean, they were sympathetic. They prayed with Christian Brothers at the end of it. And it just showed that it was bigger than the game. So I always looked for the story like that. In that case of that game, it was the sending the seniors off with a win and just the year of adversity and what they all learned and how they all came together in that short time. So I think you're just really looking for the storyline. If it was a dominant win, hey, it's dominant. Usually we try to talk with the winning team on a Friday night. Now, if you're talking with a losing team, say at the professional level, it's more so, how do you get better? What did you learn? What can you improve on? What worked tonight? What did not work tonight? Things like that, more X's and O's, I guess you would say.
Do you edit that piece yourself? Do you do the editing of that?
So in every other market that I've worked at, yes. I didn't have this was my first market where we have photographers. So every other market, it would be me on a Friday night. I would go out and shoot. And then most of the time I'd go back and anchor. I wouldn't do a package because I would co-host with my number 2. Here I just report. So yeah, we're editing that out in the field and that's all on a deadline. Go back to literally run back to the truck. I'll have my little notes on my little notepad and tell them, hey, I want my establisher to set the stage. This play, this play, this play, this play, wrap it up. Then while he's editing that, I'll go through my sound bites, tell him what sound bites I want picked. He'll give him the time code on that. Boom, he lays them down, put my stand-up tag. That's a wrap.
Got it. My question was going to be in either way, whether you're kind of helping to produce that or editing it yourself. I noticed just super mechanical. I noticed that when you got the quarterback, Xavier, the sound you got from him, you interviewed him, and then you went to the coach, and then you went back to him. I feel like that's such an interesting, especially after watching some of these young people who are on this call now, how they edited the piece that they did with Sac Republic. Why would you choose that kind of cadence, I guess? How does that help your story?
Sometimes I like to have people finish each other's sentences in a way. So if you're at the same topic, so I forgot what that thing was, but it was whether it's, so for me, say if I have a player talking about the win, then the coach win, and then maybe if he's a senior talking about what it's like to be that senior and going off, and that was his final game. Coach has no perspective on that. Coach, yeah, he can talk for his kids, but he's not the senior living that moment. So I think for me, I just wanted to ping pong and go back. And I try to have people kind of, it's just my style. If I can get a good bite from a question, I'll have them finish each other's sentences in a lot of ways.
That's a super cool strategy.
Yeah.
One of the questions we had in here. No, it's all good. Yeah, and students, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and we'll get you worked into here. You can ask Michelle directly. I'm just going off of some of the questions we got in the registration, but one of the students had asked about staying neutral in the game. How do you present the information so that it's not just
You're an
when-
outsider. I mean, you're just there. You just think of yourself as almost like a referee or as a fan. And you can't be a fan because fans, of course, have a bias. But I just see what it is, and it's like, okay, you kind of know what plays matter and what doesn't. It's a down if the game's on the line. I guess you just got to step back and really just, because for me, it's easy for me to step back because I root for everyone. So I'm rooting for all the teams. Who's going to win sometimes. But at the same time, like if you have a blowout or an upset, I mean, how cool is that to root for? But you just got to just tell the story, keep it as the story. I think like with like a special case last week, while Vista got the win, I think everyone was rooting for that kid to be okay. So I think that was a special case where it was like, it was okay to root for that kid because you, of course, at the end of the day, you don't want to see anyone get hurt. But I think it's pretty fairly easy because I have, I don't have a tie. I'm not an alum. Now, if I was covering my high school, of course, maybe I'd want my team, to do better. But at the same time, you have a job to do. So you just got to know to take yourself out of it and tell the story fairly. I mean, you're not trying to bash the kids. You're not trying to like put them up too high, too low. Just tell it what it is. The highlights they speak for themselves, I guess.
We have a quick question here from Maddie from Del Campo High School.
What kind of questions do you ask to get good sound bites for your package?
Especially with high school, very simple. Keep it simple. Don't try to make them feel comfortable. That's what I want, because a lot of them, they get a little nervous sometimes. I've even had a couple guys this year tell me, oh my gosh, I blacked out. I didn't know what I was saying. I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, just, I try to always say my go-to question if the win or the loss soundbite doesn't go too well, if I always say, how special is this group? That tends to always get a great answer, because then it's like taking the focus off themselves. A lot of people don't want to talk about themselves, and they don't, if I'm talking to the star running back and I ask him, hey, you had a great game. What was the secret tonight or something like that? Sometimes they kind of can freeze up when they're talking about themselves. But if I ask them what's special about this group, then you have no problem talking about your brothers out there or your sisters or whoever your teammates are. So I think that's kind of my go-to as well, is hey, how special is this group this year, and what can you guys accomplish? That always gets a good answer. Did the game plan work? How did you guys, a dominant win obviously is wow, you guys were dominant on all sides of the ball. Did you guys go according to the game plan? How was practice this week? Did practice, back to the game? Just things like that. I mean, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Their adrenaline's rushing after a game. Sometimes it doesn't, go in all the way. So just keep it simple. Just say, how special was that win? Hey, you got a 5-game winning streak going. How does that feel? Are you guys peaking at the right time as we're heading into the playoffs? Just things like that, I guess you could say. You just really got to know what's at stake, what's this win mean, and I guess just really know what's at stake.
I have another question here from Anisha from Intercom High School.
Hi, my question was, how do you manage tight deadlines and schedules?
Breathe. Lots of breathing. No, I think the deadlines get easier as the more experience you get. Some nights you're up against it. Like last week was a special example. When the kid was not conscious, we had to wait for the ambulance, the fire truck to get there, and I think we were pushing deadline at about, by the time I got sound, I think it was already like 10:15, and we are on at we're on by 11:15, so I have to have that in for the editors back here to push up to our system. So that was an intense deadline, but I think the more organized you are and the more that you're planning ahead as you go and constantly thinking, I think that makes it easier. I'm one to, I have my notes. So basically by the time I got back to the car, my highlights were written. All I had to do was just write them out, take the microphone, track it real fast, and guide my photographer through what clips I wanted. And I think that just the preparation, I always use this quote. I love this quote by Russell Wilson. The separation is in the preparation. And that's everything. Just be prepared, and the more organized you are, the better off you'll be with that deadline.
So the other piece I wanted to talk about was building a feature, something a little more expansive as far as storytelling. And so we've got this great story, and it's about Osaka Republic and some housing that you produce. So I'm going to show a little bit of that, if that's okay, and then we'll talk about it.
The campfire ripped and raged through paradise,
all black and smoky and like doomsday or something.
destroying homes while displacing many, like the Guillen family.
This is where we would park. Would be our garage, and it was a modular home.
Then, an unexpected gift from the Republic FC.
Please know that anything and everything is so appreciated.
And the timing was perfect for the Republic FC to step in and lend a helping hand. With the season over, they had plenty of available player housing.
We have the good fortune of putting some of our players up in these townhomes, and so a couple of players move out, and we knew we had it vacant for a couple months, and so let's put it to good use.
Yes, please. Make yourself at home.
A home for the holidays for wildfire survivors.
Me and my husband just kind of like stared at each other like, really? You know, wow.
Fully furnished, a warm bed, a fluffy beanbag, and even a place for Frosty, the family puppy, to nap. And not to mention a stocked up refrigerator.
Just the fact that I'm gonna be able to cook Thanksgiving dinner.
And Thanksgiving is an especially tough time for Stephanie.
We lost my mom 2 years ago, Thanksgiving Day, and that was her favorite holiday. So very hard. Before Scott called, I thought, okay, we're just not gonna have that this year. We're gonna forget about it. We're gonna skip it. And now we don't have to.
The attitude of gratitude.
My 9-year-old Levi last night, after we had kind of settled down and went to bed, and he came up to me, and it was like he couldn't catch his breath, and he was real emotional. And I said, "What's wrong, buddy? Are you having a hard time? Because we're, first time in a new place." And he said, "No, Mom, I'm really overwhelmed because we've been so blessed."
One simple act of kindness, spreading the holiday cheer.
There's not enough thank yous in the world that I could ever give. I mean, I can donate some soccer players.
In Sacramento, Michelle Dapper, KCRA3 News.
So how did that all go down? What was the step-by-step of building that and capturing it and the reach out from Scott to you? How that all transpired?
So I think at that point, that's obviously not a traditional sports story. At that time, I think that's what's special about my job here at KCRA is I get to not necessarily do the traditional sports stories. I get to venture into news a little bit, and it kind of makes me a better reporter as well. So everyone knew what the Paradise Fire did and the impact and the horrible devastation. So definitely we had file of that there. Scott called me, of course, and reached out and said we had this story and this is what we're doing. And I said, absolutely, I'm in, sold, done. Don't say no more. We met at the housing, the apartment complex area. We met her. She was fantastic. And she just made it so easy. I mean, for me, my style when I report is I like to have more of them, less of me. That's just my style. The better sound bites I get and the more impactful sound bites that maybe just hit you a little harder, that's credit to, of course, good questions that you ask and how you're getting the information out of them. So I really, you try hard at that. So less me, more of them. She obviously is the focus of that story and her family. I liked how, I didn't know about her mom at the time. I think, the story that I was getting told was, okay, here's a fire victim, giving her a house, and here's where to meet, and here's what we got. And it was like, you meet the family, and we got all these boys running around, and it crushes your soul. And for what the situation they're in, but they were so thankful and just so blessed I think she just made that whole story. So that made my job very easy. And then I think, when you have a layer added to it, and a good reporter always listens to the person that they're interviewing. And the fact that, when she tells me about her mom and how she lost her mom at Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and, and it kind of just puts it all together and in perspective. That's part of the story too, that maybe you didn't walk in knowing, but a good reporter will discover something by the questions that they ask and the information that they get from them. And I also liked how, she, through the tough times, she also tried to throw her humor in there as well. I got some soccer players to donate as well. And, she kind of made it fun. And I think it worked. It was a perfect storm, and it worked out. She invited us in. We got to, she showed me pictures and shared everything. And my photographer and I, of course, always on the same page as well. And you're constantly communicating of what we want shot. Do we want to get them at the table? We want to get them on the couch. Let's get the rooms. Let's get the beds. And we want to get the Republic FC's angle as well, because they're the ones that are really making this all happen. And I think it's just, it all has to come together, and you need a lot of teamwork to make that happen. But I think it happened there. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, anything you want to add on that one?
I would just add real quick that, like, Michelle clearly characterizes herself as a sports reporter, as well as a person who works on the news. But not everyone can bridge that divide with fluency. And so, to be honest, I love her sports stuff, just even as a viewer, a fan of KCRA, a fan of hers, and a fan of sports. But her ability to take what's clearly wrapped up inside of a sports story, but tell a human interest story, a story of incredible, like, I mean, what a moment to both emotional, but very excited to have a place for them to sleep now. And I mean, not everyone can do that so easily. And I mean, I know she's been working on her craft. It's probably the lesson is that, like, that takes a long time. Like, as easy as she makes that look, like, it is hard to get to a spot where she listens well enough to know to ask the Thanksgiving question. She gets them in the right positions to feel comfortable with her enough to share and start to cry. Like, that's hard to do in a short period of time. And she does it with incredible fluency, with using sports as a backdrop, clearly, but also telling these incredible news stories. We're lucky to have her in Sacramento. I'll say that. I
think you really have to just connect with the individual. And honestly, for me, it's just caring, you just have compassion. And I think once they understand that you truly care, and your intentions are real, and what you see is what you get. And I think they begin to open up, because she didn't have to tell me that her mom had passed. Right. She didn't have to tell me the things that she did. And I was lucky enough that she did. And I'm honored that she did. And that's what makes a good story. And you're right, Scott. I mean, sometimes I take for granted, with the experience, and heck, I'm like on year 20 practically, I think I am now. So it's kind of second nature to me now. But yeah, you're right. It takes time to develop that. And the thing I can't emphasize enough, a good reporter listens. You've got to listen. You can't go in with blinders. Don't have your story. While I say, do your research and have your story, kind of right as you go, but don't have a roadblock. Like, you've got to be open. You've got to be looking for things that almost can change the story, or evolve the story. And I think that's what that did there, especially with the layer of the mom and how her mom passed away. Not only did she lose everything she had, but she was dealing with the loss of her mom. So it's like, that's even more crushing. And the times of the holidays. And so it's just things like that. You just really got to listen and just try to connect yourself in their shoes and understand what they're going through. Because I mean, heck, I don't think any of us can imagine what that family was going through at that time.
All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. It's 4:20.
Absolutely.
I'll let you get going. But we really appreciate it. And
anytime you have me on again, any of the schools reach out, no worries. I'm here.
Cool. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So Scott, working with broadcasters and something like this on this project, how is that relationship? How does that work when you're pitching stories to media? Can you kind of give everyone a little background on how that works?
Yeah. I mean, when we hi everybody, nice to see you all. Scott Moak, Sac Republic, Fox 40, Sacramento Kings. So lots of different things we can talk about. It's a very common thing with businesses, really. Sports are lucky because we have things happening all the time, but even a business is going to try to pitch a story, whether a restaurant that has a new item on the menu, or a grocery store that is opening for the first time, or a sports team that is doing something cool with their athletes and some housing to be able to give someone some shelter and their family some shelter during a disaster. We are, businesses are always trying to pitch. That's where you hear that, right? You pitch their story to news outlets in our market here. We have, Channel 3, the main ones that we spend time pitching are Channel 3, that's Michelle, KCRA, Channel 10, which is ABC, Melissa May from Intercom, her former home, Channel 13, KOVR, CBS, and then Channel 40 is Fox. And there are some others too. There's some Spanish stations, some other, culturally diverse media stations and outlets that you try to pitch also based upon the story and what they're interested in. But it's really just trying to make it as compelling as you can to look. Michelle, every single day is pitched 10 different stories every day. And she's only on her newscast or a sports report is only going to be able to tell probably 3 or 4 of them, right? 49ers are probably going to be one of them right now this time of year. The Kings, big win last night. Harrison Barnes, another one. Maybe the Sac Republic final game coming up on Saturday is the 3rd. Now she's only got time for one more. You have to make it compelling to where she's going to give it time. And so that's on the business. That's on, in our case, the Republic, to make it so that she gets the phone call from me or someone here and is like, oh my God, totally. Yes, I will do that. I'll be out there 100%. We'll make that go. So that's a little bit of the process, is making it compelling, making it easy for her. That includes what time she gets there, what she can expect, where she's going to park, all the things, right? Like, you want to make it as easy as possible for these reporters that give their time to show up to tell your story.
As far as video components that you guys do at Sac Republic, how big is that video team that you guys have? And what sort of things are you doing? And obviously you have game day entertainment up on the big screen, but also I'm sure you guys are making a lot of stuff for social media as well, right?
We are. So our team right now, we have probably, I would say, a staff of 3 on our video and content team. All 3 of them are shooters, editors, and some of them dabble in a little bit of motion graphics and some other kind of technical skills too, that I would recommend all of you. You guys are so good at teaching yourselves on YouTube how to do things. I'm sure you can do that. So the 3 of them really are responsible for when any part of our business, whether it's soccer, let's just say they're going to cover practice that day and make a video that we're going to release later that night, either on social, on our Twitter account, on our Instagram, on our Facebook, or we're going to serve it to Michelle at news, or we're going to put it in game on the weekend. They're having to tell that story right there. Like, they have to think in the same way that Michelle was talking about. They have to think about, okay, what's my angle? What am I going to do? They're watching practice. They're seeing what's unfolding. Maybe there's a player that emerges that they didn't expect. Maybe that's going to be the angle of the story, to keep an eye on this player. But yeah, that's, our team, they're constantly creating, every single day, creating content, editing video, making things, super spectacular for what we would show on the video board at a game or on broadcast, or things that we share on social. Sometimes they're funny things, sometimes they're quick, sometimes we'll shoot something really funny and clever on an iPhone and kind of edit it up a little bit, put a little sound to it, and post it on our social accounts. And that, that also works these days. That works. That years ago, that wouldn't have, you couldn't do that. But frankly, because of some of you young people and your ability to make things look really, really quality and sound really good too. Never forget, video is one part of the story. Audio also has to be really good. I know that some of your videos some of those that attended the game, there was you have to always work on the video and the audio piece because they have to be really close friends as you're airing your piece. But yeah, I mean, the ability to turn something around quick is one of their main responsibilities. Make it sound good, make it look good, and have it be something people are going to want to watch.
We got a question here from Jacob from Intercom.
Yes, Jacob. What's up, buddy?
Hi, I was wondering, since you've worked with the Republic and with the Kings, do you have any tips on like remaining calm and professional if you're like meeting or interviewing like big time players or people that are very well known that like maybe you'd get nervous around or something like that?
Sure, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you are going to find yourselves in these situations where a player that or even idolize or are a fan of, or you're wearing, the LeBron shoes and you're interviewing LeBron, like, whoa, this is kind of surreal, like crazy. I think you have to, Michelle, the way she characterized it was kind of take a step back, right? The separation she talked about. You have to be able to kind of remove yourself a little bit so that you can be the best representative of yourself and the job that you're doing. So if I totally, if I'm gonna, and LeBron's right there and I need to ask him some questions about this most recent game, but I'm like totally fanboying out and can't like get myself together, I mean, it's not gonna make for a good interview. I'm gonna not have the sound I need from him. He's likely gonna think I'm a weirdo. So like, get it together, reporter guy. So you do have to kind of, some people use he's just a person. He puts his pants on just like all of us. You do have to kind of get in that space mentally where you can do that and have the ability to separate it. Sometimes too, that one of the harder parts of that is particularly if the question that you need to ask or questions you need to ask are hard. It's where LeBron, you're interviewing LeBron, just using him as the example because he's obviously a superstar that most people know. When he had a really bad game, he went 1 for 19 from the floor. They lost by 30. He maybe injured his ankle, and you have to interview him after the game. That's when it's like, whoa, you have to really be smart about how you're going to handle that. You need to ask these questions. They are going to be sensitive. He's probably not going to be in the greatest mood, but you have to figure out how professionally you can step back, kind of assess the situation and still get the information you need. So it's important that way too. Good question.
We have another
Jacob.
question. We have another question from Ella from Albioni Middle School.
Hi, my question was, what do you do when something like unscripted or unexpected happens?
Best question. I probably will answer that. I mean, I host a live television show. So the unexpected, unplanned thing happens literally every day. So like it's constant, like, and some of it is not just what happens with like guests we have on the show but like today, like we had on the show the other day, we had a dog that we were trying to get adopted, right? It was like Front Street Animal Shelter. It's like, oh, look at Daisy. Daisy's such a cute little dog. Daisy's been in the shelter for 2 weeks. Like Daisy needs a good home. We're asking the person who brought the dog in, and Daisy starts going to the bathroom right there on live TV. Like, Daisy, come on. So, you have to kind of figure out quickly, like, okay, like which way I want to take this. Do I even want to recognize it, or do I just kind of want to ignore it? Like, what are people at home watching thinking? So you do have to be able to like have some of this comes with experience. Like, you have to kind of slow things down a little bit. Very few of you will remember Melissa May and others. There was a player that the Sacramento Kings had, a basketball player named Brad Miller. And he said in an interview that I was interviewing him for, he said one of the coolest things that I'll never forget. He said, once when you're a professional basketball player and you've learned over time, you've gotten better, you've played you have a lot of experience. He says, once you understand that in order to play fast, that the NBA requires, you have to kind of play fast, you have to slow everything down. As soon as you can slow everything down, you can play fast. And I always struck me like, wow, like that's such a cool, it applies across so many different mediums. And this being one, like dog Daisy is, going to the bathroom right here. I have to kind of like slow motion, like, okay, what am I going to do? I have probably a half a second to figure out how I'm going to react, what I'm going to say, what I'm not going to say. Also happens at Kings games all the time, right? Like, and some of this, it's what I love most about announcing games. For any of you that have ever been to a game, we pride ourselves in like putting up some crazy dance cam or a t-shirt cam, like whatever. We're going to put up a camera that is going and just taking different crowd shots. And like, I narrate that because I feel like it's funny. At least I make myself laugh. So that's probably, and if my parents are there, they're probably laughing too. And maybe my kids, maybe not. But like, it's fun when things just happen naturally. And once you get to a spot where you can handle it, like that you're not going to jump off the tracks and just lose your mind. And like, if you can handle it, which comes with experience, the unexpected, it's like you almost want it to happen in the weirdest of ways. Like you know that you can handle it if it does happen. So some of that is just, again, repetition, experience, and trying. If you want to be in front of camera, you're speaking into camera as much as you can, hold as many microphones as you can, talk into as many microphones as you can, and just keep going. Hey.
So on October 17th, we had about 60 SIVA student producers come out to the Sac Republic FC game to build video stories and to build highlight reels of the day. So Scott and his team provided media credentials for all the students, special identifying red pennies so that we knew they were media. And they had a press conference just for the students with the GM. And then access to the sidelines to gather footage and roam the stadium. So I've got a quick little video to show you guys just a little bit of what that day looked like for those who weren't able to join us.
We're out here, obviously Heart Health Park. It's a beautiful day for a game, but a beautiful day to invite 60 youth out here to do some multimedia work, tell some stories. It's just been an honor really for us to host them out. They've had a great day. Obviously got to do an exclusive press conference with our general manager, got fed a little lunch, they look official, they look the part, they're doing their thing. It's just, it's super special to see. We're the ones that you look for, right? We're the ones that'll help you out.
So Scott,
Info inside, but we want to get you
your thoughts on that day?
It's important because
we've been talking about doing something like this, hosting student media out. We've never been able to, for some reason. I know COVID kind of set us all back, right? We're all in the same spot, but we never thought we were going to be able to do it. And sure enough, we're like, we have to. Before the season's over, we have to get some of these young people out. We want you all to get experiences that many of us didn't have. I never had the chance to do anything like this. When I was your age. And so just giving you that chance. Overall, I was so impressed, not just with your own stand-ups, like all of you doing these kinds of talking to camera moments, like so good on camera, so good behind camera. Some of the clips that you guys created were just absolutely stunning. Some of the capture, some of the B-roll that you guys did were able to get was better than ours. I mean, some of those camera angles, the positions that you found and were able to lock down on, not only very risky. I mean, I had one dude, I can't remember the school, young guy, maybe he's on the call. I mean, he was right behind goal because he wanted like that shot. And I mean, that is like a risky location. Press doesn't usually go there. And he's like, nope, I'm going in. I'm going to do this. So I was impressed all the way through. I can't wait to do this again. Hope everybody had a great time. And, just again, thanks to Doug and Nick and everybody who made it possible. It was our pleasure, completely our pleasure to do it.
Well, it was awesome. And so we received 20 student-produced videos from that day. And then Scott and his team reviewed all of them this week, and they provided comments. So we're going to return, give all the student producers their comments. Probably tomorrow, I'll get those emails out to the teachers. So right now, we want to show you guys, though, a couple of the top ones that we came across. So the first one, actually, we put all 20 videos up on our website in the SEVA Fest area. You'll see all 20. You also see the Capitol Air Show videos are there now too, from that SEVA Fest. But so this first one we want to show you is from Heron School. And so Nick's going to try to locate our Heron students here in the list. But this is from Cadence and Ariana. And so let me show you their quick little video.
Hello, I'm Cadence. And I'm Ariana. And we're at the FC Republic game to watch Tacoma Defiance versus Sac Republic go to head-to-head for the 4th time. Not only this is a must-win for Sacramento Republic, but it's also Youth Soccer Day. We're going to look at how Sac Republic FC can bond with their fans, family, and friends.
Come on. Let's go.
So have you been a Sac Republic fan for a long time?
Yes, we've come to games for about 3 or 4 years now. Definitely. Like I said, we've watched them play for a long time. And so you could tell they really meshed well together. So yes, I would say, yeah, there's a vibe of family.
Every time we've seen Cam getting at that open space, Brewitt can't hold them down, and agonizingly close, just sneaks past that far post.
Yeah, so the team morale is, if you know anything about our club, if you could boil down our club into one word, it's indomitable.
Even though no one managed to score, they gave it their all. And they tried their hardest. But while here, we were able to see the relationships that were created in this amazing soccer club. I'm Ariana, and I'm Cadence.
Cool, nice job.
So good. Oh my gosh. So many great things about that. I loved, it was like, Ariana and Cadence, you guys, if they're on, are they both on? Are they here? There's Cadence. Hi, Cadence. I mean, it's like every element that makes for a good short highlight story, which was like, told us the bigger picture, painted the scene a little bit, got some sound from fans. You had some really cool shots, that slow motion through, or the fast motion through the tunnel. It looked like you had like a jib. Like, I don't know how you did some of those shots. Like, it was really cool coming up to the field to show the stands, like how full they were, the kids. I mean, it's like you touched on everything that makes a terrific video terrific. So well done.
Thank you.
Cadence, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was really fun because I've gone to FC Republic games before, and I thought they were always such a fun experience, to be there as a fan, because there is a vibe of family and stuff. So to be able to be on the other side and film it all was really cool.
That's awesome. Great, and great storyline that you came out with right away. You got that sound from the fan Jennifer, who she helped you tell that story. You kind of close with it, talking about how it makes you feel. I mean, it was really good, really well done.
Our next one we're going to show you guys is from Toby Johnson Middle School and Yusef's video.
I'm Yusef Al-Salama at the Sac Republic FC Tacoma Defiance game, where today is Youth Soccer Day. The energy today is off the charts, and it's wonderful to see so many people of all ages enjoy the game.
The youth aspect of our club is so important. I just love sports. And for me, what I loved about sports was team, being part of a team, and figuring out ways to, through teamwork to win. And that's what I love.
I talked to some youth soccer coaches to hear their favorite part of coaching and what they want their players to take away from their experience.
Because what you're doing in life is the same thing that you're doing in any youth sport. They teach me to smile. They teach me to take things that I do in my job, in my life, having fun and all of the stuff that they do.
Because look, teamwork, being proud of yourself, working hard,
a team player, man, make sure that they're sharing and you know, just actually mainly having fun.
And if you work hard, maybe one day you'll be here out on the pitch.
Follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, work hard every day. But if you have a dream, follow your dream.
Final score was 0-0. From Heart Health Park and the explosive crowds, I'm Yusuf El Salema.
Dude, come on. How old are you?
I'm 12.
12. Come on, man. There's new newscasters across the country that can't do what you just did, Yusuf. Nice job, buddy. That was amazing, dude. All right, so some of the things that stood out for me there, I loved your little graphic treatment on the names when Mark Briggs came in. You got sound from the coach. Obviously, you used some of our sound, which was awesome. You used some of your cool shots. I loved you did exactly really remember what Michelle did. She put at the very beginning, she did do that for the fire story, right? She kind of she set the stage at the beginning. You did the same thing. And then in her football story, she closed it with an end card with her doing a stand-up. That's what she calls a stand-up, which is what you did from the pitch, which is a cool place to do it. Loved your angle about the youth coaching, the fact that you got those youth coaches and other people to share that same storyline and vibe. But dude, you used other B-roll. So like, did you have that? Like that, where did you get, was that our stuff? Like, where did you get that stuff?
No, I got that and I went to my soccer practice and I got some and.
Bro, that's amazing. You did, what is it? You understood the assignment and you like blasted through it, man. That is good. Oh, thank you. So proud of you, dude. So proud.
Thank you.
Gosh.
That's great. All right, awesome. So now our third one we're going to showcase for you guys. This one video really stood out to Scott's team. And Scott, do you want to tell? Should we just show it, or do you want to
roll that
okay,
sucker.
here we go.
Heck yeah.
So here it comes. This one's from Del Campo High School, Maddie and Michelle's piece. So here it comes.
Sacramento Republic FC has been a beloved professional local soccer team for around 11 years, and since then they've built a dedicated fan base of soccer lovers in the Sacramento area.
A Sacramento Republic really tries to embody the diversity, experience, and passion of our city and our community. We got people from all over the world, and what do people play all over the world? Soccer.
Sac Republic brings together fans in the area that have much heart for soccer as a sport by bringing their passions to the stands.
Well, to me, my family, soccer is kind of like a way of life. You know, it's our passion. We love soccer. It's part of our culture.
Soccer is a life. You start from age 4, you play, rest of your life. Never stops.
This love and support for the sport and the team is strongly appreciated by the Sac Republic players, coaches, and management team, who share this love for soccer.
Regards the fans, they're huge. The fans are massive for us. The fans are, you know, we need them in difficult moments. We need them to be loud, and we need them to get behind us, and we need them to support us. So they're huge as well.
The team shares deep love for its fan base and the Sacramento community, and they are committed to giving back to them.
So for Sac Republic, we recognize that we're more than just a soccer club. We want everyone from all walks of life to come out and enjoy the game that they love. Everyone in this region loves soccer, and for us to be out in the community, that's the least that we can do.
Sac Republic will continue to reach for more accomplishments in the future, bringing joy to the soccer community and helping those in need. With fellow student journalist Michelle, I'm Maddie, reporting for DC Daily.
Go Sacramento, go Republic!
Oh, come on. Killed it at the end.
All right.
Maddie, awesome job. Kudos to you. Michelle also. Michelle's not here, but like, I mean, look, what I will say this, I don't know how many people know this maybe at your school or that you've talked to, but you guys had a plan from the minute you walked in the park. And I remember because you asked, unlike a lot of other young people that were there, you knew you had a path that you wanted to go down, and you knew what sound you wanted to get. You knew who you wanted. You knew kind of generally who you wanted to interview, but you asked like, hey, who should we talk to? The fact that you had that blueprint in your mind coming in, knowing what Michelle said is important, right? That it sometimes things come up, sometimes there's something new, sometimes the Thanksgiving story pops up, sometimes or the mom, right? Like we have to be able to still pivot, but like you guys, you and Michelle knew like what you wanted to accomplish, and you did it. I mean, it was really cool to watch. You know, from the getting Kevin, he runs all of our community programs. So like that fire moment that we had where we helped that family, we are doing things like that in the community all the time. And you knew you wanted to tell that story. Meanwhile, you got the coach to bring in some of the soccer side of it. You went out into the parking lot and got tailgate B-roll and footage from the tailgate and asked people questions out there inside. I mean, the shots were good. The audio was great. I mean, just kudos. I mean, they were all great. We found something we loved in every single one, but you guys really, really went above and beyond, and really well done.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Maddie, what did you think of the day? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun because I play soccer and I've been to Sac Republic games before, but like being up close and being able to like, I don't know, like the battalion group, like they were super fun to be around, and it was just different, like coming in and like being up close to everything, you know?
You bet. You bet. Was there something that I think maybe, was there something that surprised you, or like maybe what was the most challenging part of the experience?
I think it was hard just talking to everybody and trying to like find the right people to talk to who's down to talk and be interviewed, because not a lot of people were comfortable with it, but the people that were down to do it, we got a lot of good sound bites from them, and it was just fun talking to other people who were really passionate about soccer and things like that.
Really good. Really, really great job. What you, and the fact that you were able to do it. It's hard to tell a story with that much going on, that many people, in a short period of time. And, you know, with the edit, you were able to get it all down, make it concise, make it something fun that we could watch. We clearly walked away feeling a sense for what you were trying to get across. So just super proud of you guys.
Thank you.
So Scott, what's in store for Maddie and Michelle then for this weekend?
Yeah, so on the line, we talked to Doug and Siva. We wanted to be able to honor the one that we felt like kind of went above and beyond. And so with that, Michelle and Maddie, we are going to invite you to the game, you and your family and closest people to you. We want you to come be our guest. You don't have to work this time. This time you just get to sit and enjoy, and like we'll feed you and it'll be super fun. But we also want to recognize you out on the field during right before the game starts. So you'll be honored and recognized as, you know, the kind of student winners of this little initiative that we had with Siva. And we're actually going to show your video before the game starts, right before the game starts. So right before kind of, you know, player introductions and national anthem and all that. So we'll recognize you. We'll say, hey, and they did something, they put together something really special. Take a look and we'll show it on the video board. We're working with our TV partner to show it on our broadcast as well. So, so hopefully that'll be a special moment for you and just our way of saying thanks. And thanks for taking it super seriously and like putting your all into it. It was really impressive.
So Scott, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today, but also the huge, you know, opportunity you provided for all of our students on October 17th for the game, and to have them put their skills to practice in the real world.
Like I said, it was our honor. It was a long time coming, and I would say our schedule probably comes out in January-ish, maybe February, for this next 2022 season. And you can absolutely bet on the fact that we're going to do this again, maybe even a couple times. So we'll be in touch. Some of you can start to get ready and start thinking. And if we want to create some kind of pipeline, we can, to get people, you know, ready to go for when we're ready to bring you back to a game to try it again. So we're looking forward to it as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So, and you know, can everyone, you guys want to turn your mics on? Let's say a quick thanks to Scott. Michelle already took off, but I'd like to say thanks to Scott for sharing his afternoon with us. We really appreciate it. So
Thank you, Scott.
Thank
you,
you,
Scott.
Scott. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.